Good morning, folks. Happy Saturday. Tim Ealer here. Hope you all doing well today. Today's the 23rd of August. Can't believe the end of August is almost upon us here. This is the tropical update for today. First of all, we have 99L out here in the tropical Atlantic, MDR, moving westward here. We have 90L, which is moving to the north here right now. And based on what I'm seeing from the current flow around '90L, I had to think about it for a minute. You can see the low level flow is away from Bermuda. Mid level flows away from Bermuda. Upper level flows away from Bermuda. So my thoughts on the potential track of this is that, and this is just a water vapor loop, and my analysis here, it's possible that this could move to the west some more, but given the flow, and I'm not overriding any other forecaster or any National Hurricane Center, it's just my thoughts here. But you can see the flow here squarely away from Bermuda. And anyway, I'll show you the latest from National Hurricane Center. I'm sorry for my sniffling and stuff. My allergies or something are bothering me today really bad, so forgive me here. Tropical storm expected to form this weekend while it moves northwestward and northern southwestern Atlantic. So that's pretty strong wording in the 80-90%. Probably make it 90% next update at 8 a.m. And this is the 2 a.m. advisory for 99L. And they recycle the numbers, so they go 99L, then they go back to 90L. This one was first, that one was second designated here. So the system has the potential to maybe develop in the short term, but then it's supposed to reach an unfavorable environment, and it reaches the close to the Windward Islands, but then once it gets into the Caribbean Sea, upper level conditions are going to be less favorable for development. It's not expected to develop after that. So, what I'm going to go now is go over the model guidance for these systems, starting with the Google AI model and Euro. Going through time here. I really think the Euro's out to lunch on a tropical storm developing out here before it reaches the Caribbean Sea, but I guess we'll have to see. Interesting that the Euro is doing that, and AI models really aren't showing anything for the system down there, and they continue not to do that. We have a non-tropical system developing off the coast here, looks like, moving out to sea, and maybe reaching tropical storm. 90L maybe reaching tropical storms in the North Atlantic here. So this is the model forecast tracks for 90L. This is on the Tomelberg website. He has a lot of good information about tropical systems and a lot of good displayed information, easy to read, understand. So these are all the different models. HAFS-A and B don't have a lot of. I'll show you in a few minutes. They show it not doing anything after like falling apart in the next 24 hours or so or less. So I don't know if they're out to lunch or what, but the rest of the global models and a few of the hurricane models, the HMON and the HWRF, they all show system moving to the right of Bermuda. There's Bermuda right there. As far as intensity guidance, you see the hurricane models, HAFS-A and B. A isn't even on here. All the other ones, except for the UCMET, want to make it a tropical storm or close to hurricane force. HWRF, HMON, and others want to make a tropical storm. So this is the GFS ensemble output. 31 members here, showing the different potential tracks, what it thinks, the little lines of the members. You see the with the darker, the 100% in the middle shows like the confidence, and further out, of course, less here. And the red is the deterministic GFS, was the operational run, and then you have the mean of all the members moving to the right of Bermuda. I have this twice. I'm not sure why. Forecast tracks again. The dark line is the average mean for all the members, and the different colors on the lines equal forecast intensity. Not many want to bring this to sub 1000 millibar at this point. It's initialized 00 UTC 23 August 2025. So we'll just have to see what future runs tell us. Future intensity forecast for 90L. Initialized 00600 today. Zulu. See, the wind shear remains quite in a somewhat favorable environment. SSTs do as well and fall off sharply, and so as wind shear increases. Relative humidity seems marginally favorable. Like to see 70%, 60% will probably do. And as it moves further north, of course, it runs out of that heat content as well. So the shit's forecast really doesn't show much of anything. I don't know why that's only one track there, but up here it's showing the potential max intensity of 50 knots, which is close to 65 miles an hour. As far as 99L goes, all the models want to hang on to this. HMON kind of goes out there. GFS loses it when it reaches the Caribbean Sea. The HAFS hurricane models keep it going in the low flow. And the UCMET and HWRF want to do something with the global models. It kind of disappears from the global model runs once it reaches the Caribbean Sea. So that's likely why the Hurricane Center is part of the reason why they're saying, hey, nothing's going to happen with this thing once it reaches the Caribbean. You can see the ship's model is the only one that really wants to do anything with this. So this is an outlier here. Wants to make it close to a hurricane in 120 hours, which I think is unreasonable. And this is the GFS ensemble. Best track density 200 kilometer radius. Of course, this is where it's tracked to, and this is the operational run. This is the mean, and all the lines are the potential tracks. Once you reach the Caribbean Sea, it's all over as far as I'm concerned, and don't have to really worry about it. But it's worth talking about in case we do get some development here before it reaches the Windward Islands. Potential intensity on the GFS ensembles. Not showing much of anything. Weak tropical depression at best. It's just forecast, like I said, I think it's out to lunch here. It wants to reach category 1 intensity when it reaches close to Hispaniola. I'm not sure why, but you can see what happens here. Wind shear increases as it moves through in time. SSTs increase. Relative humidity does, and heat content does, but I'm not, with the wind shear being like that, I'm not sure why it thinks it's going to intensify. It's really doesn't make any sense. That's it for that. A couple other things I want to show you, and this is a really nice look at the two disturbances in the tropical Atlantic. These two panels allow me to look at different aspects of a system all in one place here. You have 99L over here. This is a visible shortwave infrared satellite loop. You can see it's getting sheared apart right here, and you can see why. Deep shear from the south over where that circulation might be. Also some mid-level shear, and there's dry air surrounding the system as well. And these are the satellite derived wind data that would tell us if we have a closed circulation, but we don't have any readings right over where this would be right now, so it's hard to really tell. There's a fair amount of divergence aloft, as you can see in the yellow here, and convergence. There's some convergence as well at the surface. And there's a fair amount of vorticity as well, but the surrounding environment is marginal at best. Trying to see if we don't have a close-up visual here. So you can see what's going on with it. Not too much going on. And this is the same thing with 90L. Looks a little bit more impressive here. You have some moisture surrounding it, the water vapor loop here. You also have a somewhat favorable environment as far as shear goes, but you have the shear off to the west and off to the east, and it's right in between that right now. Mid shear, not too terrible. They can survive in that. Convergence at the surface, divergence aloft, and vorticity. So it has a lot of the factors that will allow it to become something, as long as it can get organized here. Not a lot of dry air right over top of it either, as you can see from that. And the scalerometer winds didn't really catch it either, so it's really hard to get a feel for. It's just a low level circulation right now. I have a feeling they're probably going to send a aircraft out there to look at this and get a better look and see what's going on today. See if I can the IR satellite. It's getting quite a bit of convection around it, especially on the north side here. So we'll just have to see what happens at the what they talk about at the 8 a.m. advisory. Well, as it can stay in this low shear environment for the next couple of days, we got a chance to see it develop. We'll just see what happens. Let's see if we got a closer up visible loop. Nothing. Okay. I know I kind of geeked out on you there, but I I think these are good tools to have, and you know, all having these tools all in one place definitely helps. Quickly, I'm going to go through the different European ensembles. European ensemble. Most of them, almost all the members are to the right of Bermuda as it moves through. You see 90L, 99L, the Caribbean disappears when it reaches the Caribbean Sea. This is the super ensembles. I want to keep that system 90L to the right of Bermuda. Again, not one to do much. Something may develop off the coast there at the end of the month. We'll see. And these are the infrared satellite presentations modeled by these different models. I wanted to show you what the GFS does. It wants you can see the eye there. It wants to make it a hurricane as it moves um, through into the North Atlantic before it reaches colder water in a couple of days. The HAFS-B and A, like I said in the other guidance I was talking about, they both lose it. I mean, it's like it doesn't even exist anymore. And I'm not certain why, really, but we'll just have to see. I know you don't like hearing that. I don't know why, but the National Hurricane Center apparently doesn't think these models are very relevant because they still think it's going to develop. There's a HAFS-A parent, which is another hurricane model. You see, it has a coherent system here, somewhat on develop, and then loses it. Same thing with 90L, 99L here in the Caribbean. HWRF parent on another hurricane model. See, just to the east of Bermuda wants to, looks like, make a small hurricane here and then move it out to sea. I'd like to look at the wind field real quick. If it'll. It would be Bermuda right there. It looks to me like this model, there's not going to be a lot of impacts for Bermuda if this model plays out, because most of the moisture, yeah, I just don't think there's gonna be a lot of impacts to Bermuda if this plays out. And this is the HWRF parent. I already did that. HMON. Anyway, this is a simulated radar and MSLP for one of the hurricane models. I'm trying to pinpoint where Bermuda is, and I can't see it. It wants to develop maybe a tropical depression or low wind tropical storm here as it moves north. let's look at precip along this path here. I don't know. Right now, I'm really thinking that it's not going to have a lot of impacts on Bermuda, but they may issue tropical storm warnings or watches um, as a cautionary measure next day or so. All right, well, that's it for the tropics. I'm going to go over the continental U.S. Forecast next. All right, so here's the now we're going to go over the local, the continental U.S. forecast for today and this weekend, next couple days. Here we got the current hazards here. We have a flood watch in the southeast here and good portion of Georgia, South Carolina along the mid-Atlantic coast, and some areas in the desert southwest with the heat still being a factor out here out west, all along the west coast, pretty much, except for in the mountains here. And this is the heat risk associated with that. So in the red here, a lot of areas in the red and orange, and some dotting in here in the south and Florida, maybe. Excuse me. And moving through time here, you see the risk of heat goes up into the northwest here for a few days. You can see all along where this cooler air is moving southward here, where there's no risk at all. Not a very good arrow. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm on the struggle bus today. Really tired today. Um, extreme heat still in the northwest here, all the way through the end of the period. Finally cooling off. Excuse me. Go through time. So, look at the map here. Excuse me. Look at the map here at the end of the period. Not many areas even in orange and red. So that's saying something there. Even for this time of year, in the end of August, I'll take it for sure. What's driving this? Upper level pattern is modeled by the GFS ensembles. We have that high pressure ridge over the west, low pressure. The level low developing in the upper Midwest and Canada flattens out the ridge, but you see how it gets amplifies in the northwest there. Let's bring that heat there. As this amplifies and stretches this high pressure out. See that hold on. Well, this northwest flow brings much cooler temperatures into the eastern U.S. And towards the middle of the week, still the northwest flow with maybe a flow flattening out quite a bit for the continental U.S., exception of the west coast here, where again you're going to have a ridge building in. Looks like in the middle part of the country here. But you get this far out in time, the flow patterns are a lot more broad because of the inherent uncertainty with the GFS, or any ensemble model for that matter. So we don't want to go any further than this. Broad scale features, yes, but minute changes in flow and stuff really are hard to come by here. So what's that translate to in temperatures? See the max temps, so the highest out west here. You got min temps cooling off a little bit. Day 2, which is Sunday, still hot, quite warm, but not overly hot in the south. 90 and 90s in the desert southwest here for lows. That's terrible. See cooling off in the north here. And you see how it moves further south over time. 40s, 50s, the 50s for lows for a good portion of the country here. Day 4 highs, which is Tuesday. See even up in the northwest how hot it is. Minimum temperatures still for a good portion of the country, lows in the 50s and 60s, even into North Florida. Low 60s again on Wednesday. Still quite nice in the towards the end of the period here. Cooling off for the Intermountain West. And still, day 6 mean temps. Maybe the coolest right there. Warming up a little bit up here in the northern tier, but man, you can't beat those temperatures. I'm gonna have to make this video a little shorter today because my voice is not behaving today. So as far as precip goes, of course, we have the stalled frontal boundary. This is the current frontal boundary here. The current surface map. You have a that frontal boundary moving through the flow here is eventually going to push all the way south here. But you have a stalled front right along the coast here, which is lifting moisture into all along here. And you can see that what looks to be a short wave moving through the flow here, which is enhancing precipitation right along it. The long wave infrared is kind of still echoing that short wave and the enhanced lift that it's creating. And there's going to be a low pressure surface will develop up the coast and move northward here over time. You can see the low level water vapor, how dry it is just to the west here and to the north with the flow. See the high level, the high pressure out west here, kind of circling around and building to the north as this trough builds down. Back to the precipitation. For this weekend, with the latest run here, 6Z run gives me 48 hours. Precip chances are greatest in the south here, really. And then we have diurnal Intermountain West storms developing every day due to the higher terrain and other factors. And maybe some severe weather moving through the flow here to the west of the Rockies. You can see that low level up and off the coast here. I had a QPF map up. There it is. Ending Sunday, the most moisture. You can see where it is here. Ending Saturday, today. And then 48-hour QPF. This is a total ending Monday. See where the most precip is. So, as you can see from these graphics, highest precip chances are Intermountain West into the along and to the west of the Rockies here, in the southeast, along the southeast coast, along the Florida coast, and the Gulf Coast, and up into the Appalachians, up into the northeast quarter. So what's the 7-day forecast for our local area here? Shower and thunderstorms likely today, high of 81, and then shower and thunderstorms likely and foggy tonight. Less chances tomorrow, then Monday it clears out. High of 89, winds from the northwest. That's dry air coming in. Sunny, partly cloudy, high 85, low 63, 62. And then rain chances pick up towards the end of the period, which I got no problem with these temperatures here. So overall, not a lot going on in the country in the U.S. other than the heat out west and a bunch of short-term flooding in the southeast. We're looking forward to this cooler air coming through and really enjoying a break from the rain and just the hot temps. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you all have a good day.